Hello, our most valued student. My name is Confident. Welcome to the revision of the Mathematics N2 question paper. And this question paper was written in November 2020. We have looked at the previous questions, which I will encourage you to grab hold of, question number 1 to 4. And in this section, we are looking at question number 5. Now, question number 5 is focusing mainly on trigonometry. And if we look at 5.1, it says given the function y is equal to 2 plus cos x for x in the range of 0 degrees to 360 degrees, and then says draw the graph on its own system of x is using the graph paper. So this is actually the domain, and it's between 0 and 360, which is the x-axis in this case. And this question is 4 marks. Now, what I encourage you to do is you need to rely on your calculator for you to draw this graph, because it is mainly your calculator that will give you the values that you need. So how do you go about this using your graph paper? So we have our graph paper here, which we are going to use in drawing this graph. We will see if ever we can use it in its full like this, or we need to maybe minimize it like that. So we will have our graph paper, and to get the values, as I said, we will need a calculator. So if I can have lines here like this, I can have some lines where I will be finding my x and y values. So remember, you need to have as many values as possible, which you are going to be using just trying to divide this as small as I can so that I can have as many values to ensure that these fit in here. If you have got more space, which is fine. So in here I will have my x and I will have my y. Now the calculator will be giving me these values. So how do you use a calculator for that? You need to enter that. The first thing is to change the mode, which is mod. You go for 3, which is table, and then give you f of x. Now your f of x in this case represent your y. Then you add that 2 plus cos, and then your x, you say alpha, you press that bracket, which now gives your x, and then you open the calculator, opens the bracket, you need to close the bracket, then you press an equal sign. It will give you where it says start. Now the calculator that you must use in this case is your Casio, any scientific Casio calculator, not the old Casio, but it can be the FX82EZ or the FXZA. The ZA is also a good calculator that you can use. So where are you starting? You can, in this case, it says we are looking for the x values between 0 and 360 degrees. So we are starting from 0. Then you press equal sign. Where are we ending? It says we must end at 360. Now, one important part in this case are your steps. Now, what steps are you going to use? Now, for this graph, because it's cos x, let's use the steps of 30 degrees. You can start from 15 and see what it gives you, but I'll use, in other ways, I'm jumping from 30 to 60 to 90 and just like that. So these are the values that I'll be getting, and I'm going to be entering these values in this table. As you can see, I've got 0 on the x values, 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, 210, 240, 270, 300, 330, and 360. Let me write those, which is 0, and 30 and 60 and 90 and 120 and 150 and 180, 210, 240, 270, and then we have 300 and 330 and 360, so which means I had more points there. Now what I then need is to fill in the y values which are under my f of x. So now if I go back, now what I'm focusing on, I'm looking under my f of x. You need to focus on the numbers that are easier to plot. For example, you see I've got 3 there. Now 2,86, you can ignore it, but you can go for that one. 2,5, you can go for 2, you can go for 1,5, you can ignore that one, you can go for 1, you can ignore that one, you can go for 1,5, and so on and so on. So now let us have these values entered. Now when x is 0, you can see I've got f of x, which is my y, is 3. So that's what I'm gonna have there. That's how I'm plotting them. Again, you move on. When x is 30, I've got 2,866. But as I said, you ignore that one. You move on to the next one. When x is 60, I've got 2,5. There. This one we ignored because it's got a lot of decimals. Then we play down, and then we have 90 is 2 and 120 is 1,5. We're going to ignore 150 there. So we've got 90 and 120, which is 2 and 1,5. That one we ignore, and we can cross check again to make sure we did the right thing. 90 is for 2, 120 is 2, 1,5, we ignore 150. Can you look at the next 3? The next 3 is 180 is 1, you ignore 210, and 240 is 1,5, so it's 1 and 1,5 again. Again, you cross check and see if ever you inputted the values correctly. So 180 is 1, 210 we're ignoring, 240 is 1,5. It will be easier for you because you don't have to be exiting the screen and checking the calculator. You can actually enter all these. On my side, I cannot enter these values and the calculator being on the screen, so I must try to work around that. So then I've got 270 is 2, 300 is 2,5. I'm going to ignore 330, so I've got 2 and 2,5. And then lastly, I've got 360, which is 3. So I've got my values now. Now what I need to utilize, or what I need to know, is I know my lowest value of x. This is my lowest value LV, and this is my highest value HV. Also, if you look at the y values, again similarly, where there is the lowest value, I also have got the in this case highest value is 3, and then the lowest value that I'm getting is a 1 there, which is my LV. So it's important for me so that I'll be able to know how to draw this graph. So I've got the lowest value, which is a 3, and the highest value, which is a 3, and the lowest value, which is a 1. So now when I draw my graph, which is what I'm given, I divide my line just divide it like that. The limitation of my graph, I think you've seen. Say that is my line. Now I do not have any negative values, so I only have positive values of x and positive values of y. So which means I can have my graph from here like that, and these become my y-axis. It's very important to label your graph, otherwise they'll penalize your mark. This is my x. Now I have to divide now my graph, as if I can mark every point like that as my 30. Every 5 boxes, I mark every 5 boxes, and you can see even on the graph they are a little bit bolder for every 5 boxes there, making it better for me to plot it. 1, 2, 3, there is one there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For every 5 boxes you mark 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So I can now write 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, then I had 180, 210, 240, 270, then I have 300, I have 330, I have 360. So I can stop there because that's where my graph is ending. And then remember, in the beginning, of course, I've got my 0 there. And then also on my y values, remember the y values were stretching from positive 3 to negative 3. I mean positive 3, not, there is no negative. So I have my 1, my 2 and my 3 there, which is 1, 2 and 3. I was also counting every 3 boxes. So now I can plot my graph. When x is 0, y is 3. So that is where the graph is starting there. The next one is, we ignore the 30, then 60 is 2,5. So I got to 60, and then I've got to 2, but now between 2 and 3, so in between 2 there, it's 2, 4, there is a center there, that is my 2,5. It is the center there. And then 90 is 2. So you go to 90 and you have your 2. And 120 is 1,5. You go to 120. Again, you've got your 1. Now the 1,5 is the half of 1 and 2, which is 2, 4, 5 in the center there. The closer the points, you can see that it's better to see where the values are. You ignore 150. 180 is a 1 in this case, which is that one. And then 210 you ignore. 240 is 1,5. We've got 240 as 1,245. It is the center there. And then, actually it's backward. 270 is 2. So in 270 I go for 2, which is that part there. And then 300 is 2,5. 300, it's 2,5 in there. And then lastly, I've got 360 is a 3. So 360 gives me, actually it's 1, 2, 3, it is that mark. So now I need to draw this particular graph, and if you can see it carefully, I have a graph which is going like this. Remember, this is like a sine wave kind of a graph. It starts there, like that. So that is the graph that I'm having, and this particular graph, as we said, it is the graph of y is equal to 2 plus cos x. So this is the graph I'm having. So that's how we could have drawn it. So looking at previously, it says draw the graph on the system, says draw the graph on its own system of axes using the graph paper between 0 and 360. So we've drawn that graph. You get your 4 marks. Now let's see, there's a next question, says read the values of x for which y is equal to 1 from the graph. Now that is actually what I wanted also to show you. Now when they're saying y is equal to 1, so if you look at your graph, these are the y values. So here y is equal to 1, here y is equal to 2, here y is equal to 3. So when they're saying read the values there, you can actually have a line here that goes, actually it's from 1, it's not as what I would have wanted, but you can see that is the part this graph was supposed in a way to touch, where y is equal to 1, and you can see where there is a 1, you also have here a 180 mark. So what you can do, you can use that point where you had 180 here, that is where that part is. But now if you go to the question, it says read the values of x, so they want the values of x for which y is equal to 1 on the graph, and the value of x is 180 there. Or you can use the table to say when y is 1, x is 180. So you can come and say x is equal to 180 degrees. Then you're good to go to get that 1 mark. So that is how you solve it. Let us move on to the next question. It says calculate the value of that. This is 2 marks question if you're solving it. Now they want you to calculate the value there. So it's degrees and minutes. That's where you're calculating that. So what you can use, you can simply use a calculator. If I can use a calculator straight away, they won't penalize you a mark because they didn't specify with or without a calculator. So you can actually use a calculator to find the value just for 2 marks. So you say cos 350. So in this particular pattern, you see there is degrees there and 25. Now you press that, it's now minutes, minus 101, which is degrees, and 12. The next time you enter it, it becomes minutes. You close that bracket, and then you get minus 0.3548 to 3 decimal places. You press that to say 3, which is minus 0.355. So you have got equal to minus 0.355. So that is how you could have done it. Or if you wanted to do some working, what you needed to do is to look at those minutes. Remember, we have got 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes. So if you're going to work on it like that, then you ask yourself in here, what about 25 minutes is equal to x degrees? So you have to convert these 25 minutes into degrees, you cross multiply like that, so that you are going to have x times 60, which is 60x is equal to 25. Then to solve for x, you divide by 60, such that now your x is equal to now 25 divided by 60. It gives you 0,41666, which is 0,417 there. So that is the first part. Second one, 12 minutes. Again, 1 degree is 60 minutes. What about 12 minutes? It is x. So using the same concept, 60x is equal to 12. Divide by 60. Divide by 60. Remember, as I said, here you cross multiply. So when you divide by 60 there, you have got your x is equal to, in this case, it's 12 over 60. You press SD 0,2. So you have got 0,2. Now this is degrees. Remember, you're converting from minutes to degrees. Then you can now say cos 350. Now you see you have 0 comma, so it's like you are saying 0,417 plus 350 there. Actually it will be 0,417 plus 350. It will become 350,417. So that's what it became. So 417 minus 101,20. So if you solve that using a calculator there, you are going to then say cos 350,417 minus 101,20 or comma 2. You don't have to put that 0, it's still gonna give you the same answer. Then you can see we're getting the same answer because 0,348, say shift setup 6 and 3 decimal places 0, minus 0,355. So you can see that it's giving us the same answer. So 2 marks, you could have worked it like that, but still if you went straight like that with the calculator, they won't penalize you a mark. Now we're looking at question 5.3. It says in triangle ABC shown below. So let us look at this triangle ABC here. So this is the triangle we're given, that's figure 1. AC is equal to 69. You can see that part there is clear. And angle C is 31 degrees. That angle is there also clear. Angle B is 90 degrees. You can see with that part it's 90 degrees. Now with that, says calculate the values of the following. They want you to find BC. So this is 2 marks and you need to find BC. So you can see the part of BC is the distance from here to here. So now how do I find my BC with this information given? I have to use my soccer toya. If I can write my soccer toya. Now definitely if you don't know this one, you definitely need to get hold of my book, which is Mathematics N2 for the Underdogs, where it becomes easier to solve these trigonometric ratios. So this is soccer toya, where I divide it into 3 parts like that, and I'm looking for my BC. Now I have to label my triangle. Now AC is called my hypotenuse, which is H, hypotenuse, which represent my H, and then my BC is called my adjacent, which represent my A, and the other one, AB, is called my opposite side, which represent my O. So now what I'm requested to find is my BC, which is my adjacent. So from my SOHCAHTOA, I look for the one that has got A. So you can see that the first one is off because there is no A. It is the second and the third that have my A. But now I look at the second information. What am I given? I'm given the hypotenuse, which is 69. So I look at the next one, which talks about the hypotenuse, which is 69. So you can see the third one does not talk about the hypotenuse, but this talks about the hypotenuse. So that's how I separate it, so that I can see that I'm supposed to use CA. Let me write it. I can write it like this. So I'm supposed to use my C, A, and H, but now my CA, I do that further. So what does it say? Cos theta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So cos my theta is 31 degrees is equal to my adjacent is 60. My adjacent, I don't know my adjacent. My adjacent is what I'm looking for, which is my BC over my hypotenuse. They told me it is 69. So now I need to solve this, and you know how you solve that. You're solving for BC, you multiply both sides by 69, and you also multiply this side by 69, so that will go. So you have got now, therefore BC is equal to 69 cos 31, and the BC in this case will be 69 cos 39. It will be that 53,623, as you can see, rounding off to 3 decimal places there, 53,623. You can use the shift setup 6 and 3, it will come out like that, 53,623. Now you have to look at the units. They gave you in centimeters there, so you have to leave your units also in centimeters. So that is the answer there for you to find BC. Let us move on to the next one. We are given the same 5.3 diagram. Now in this particular case, you are supposed to find AB. So yeah, here there are 2 ways you could have done it. You are looking for AB. In this case, again, what are we given? We are given this as the hypotenuse, as we said previously. Now we said this was the adjacent and this one was the opposite, and we said we use SOHCAHTOA, and then we have TOA. So now we are looking for AB, which is the opposite. So the ones that have got opposite is the first one, call it 1, and if this is 2, if this is 3, it is 1 and 3. This one goes off because it doesn't deal with the opposite. And also I'm given H, the hypotenuse, so I have got my H there, so this one also goes off. So I'm going to use 1, and if I'm going to use 1 in this case, it will be, in this scenario, I'll be having sin theta is equal to opposite, which is up, over hypotenuse, because remember this will further become S over is S like that. S is equal to O over H. So this you need to know. As I said, I cover this in my mathematics N2 for the underdogs. Now I know my angle sin 31 is equal to opposite, which is my AB, over my hypotenuse is 69. So again, using the same principle, I multiply by 69. You also multiply by 69, so that you cancel there, and I have my AB is 69 sin 31. So if I do that, I will have 69 sin 31, which will give me 35.5377 if you round off like this, it give you 35.538. So this becomes my AB. So remember, the units is in centimeters, and then again previously we're looking at 53.623. But now you could have worked this question differently. You could have actually used Pythagoras theorem here. Remember, it's a 90 degree. You know from the previous question that the adjacent was 53.623. So if I write here and say this is 53.623, and you know, like with the Pythagoras theorem, which says AC squared is equal to AB squared plus BC squared. So this is the Pythagoras theorem. You can find it from the formula sheet. Now you know your AC, which is 69 squared, is equal to AB squared plus BC, which is 53.623 squared. Then take that to the other side, which is 69 squared minus 53.623 squared is equal to AB squared. To get rid of that square, if you recall from your notes, which if you have done this Pythagoras theorem, then you can say therefore AB is equal to, you take a calculator there and find out what is the square root of 69 squared minus 53.623 squared. Then if you do that, you can see that is 43.423. centimeters, if you still remember. Now compare the two answers. Something is different here. If I can just use the calculator again in this case, just to cross check if I did punch it correctly. It's square root of 69 squared minus 53.623 squared, like that. It's actually giving me 43. It's 43.431, which is 43.423. Is still the same answer. Now if I look again at the previous one, then it gives me to go back to the previous one and check if I did it correctly. As I said, sin theta was equal to my opposite over my hypotenuse, and what I did was sin 31, which is the angle there, its opposite, which is AB over 69. Now if I cross check again on my calculator now, it will be 69 sin 31, and it's giving me 35.537 in there. Just again to check here to say mod shift that to say am I working with degrees. Let me try again. 69 sin 31, it is equal to still maintaining the same answer. Now let us try the previous one again to see if ever this was given correctly, because maybe there is an error that we made there. The previous one was the hypotenuse was 69, the adjacent was that, and with a calculator we said BC is equal to 69 cos 31. Let's just cross check if that is correct, which is 69 cos 31. I think that is where the error was made, because 69 cos 31 is actually giving me 59,11445. If I press that 6 to 3 decimal places, is actually 59,145. there it's 59,145. that is my BC. So which means this was an error there, and the answer is actually 59,145. So BC is equal to 59,145. Now let us check again if ever we are still getting the same answer. Now this one AB was 35,538. we leave it like that. We need to look at this one, which was relying on that previous answer there, which is, in this case, we say it is 59,145. so I'll have here 59,145. Even here I'll have 59,145. Now let's try that with the calculator and see what it's giving us again. It's 69 squared minus 59,145 squared. If I do that, it's giving me now 35.5368. If you round it off to 3 decimal places, it will give me 35,537. 35,537. Remember, I'm finding in this case my A, B. So now if you compare the two answers now, I think it's matching. 35,537 and 35,538. it is the rounding off that is actually making the last third decimal different. But you can see that these two answers now are matching, and it's always good to use the second method, this particular second method, to cross-check your first method. And then, as you can see, it helped us to pick up that there was an error which was made in the previous calculation, because we were using that answer to rely on to get the correct answer. So it is always sometimes a good thing to use two versions and see if ever you are getting the same marks. Now we are looking at 5.3, same still on the same question, but 5.3.3 says we need to calculate the following: 2 sine A. This is 2 marks. 2 sine A. So you come here and we're saying I need to find 2 sine A. Now you look at this. This is our A here, and if this is our A, now the values in a way the sides will change, whereby we still have this as the hypotenuse, but our A is now reference, which means this becomes our adjacent now, and this will become our opposite. Now 2 sine A is equal to 2, and then remember sine, you know that sine, again let me write it this side to say sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Remember, you use the word so, say it SOHCAHTOA, so sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse. So here we're saying 2 times, now our opposite you can see is BC in this case, over our hypotenuse is 69, which is equal to 2. Now we did find our BC. In this case, our BC was 59,145. Remember, we corrected it, 59,145. So you have 59,145 over, and then you will have opposite over hypotenuse, which is 69 in this case. So which is equal to, when you simplify that, it will give us 2 into 59,145 all over 69. It gives us 1,714. So it's 1,714. So 2 sine A in this case is equal to 1,714. That is what it simplifies to. Again, it's trick. You have to understand which one is your opposite, your adjacent, as well as your hypotenuse. Now we're looking at 5.4, which is a different question. Now it's out of 15 marks, which is the end of this question. It says if sine alpha or sin alpha is equal to minus 3 over 5, and you are given this particular domain, which is 180, is less than or equal to alpha, which is less than or equal to 270. Determine the value of cos alpha without using a calculator. We will see if we can use a calculator, but for now, how do you do that? Divide your Cartesian plane like this, just to get a brief of some information here. Now this is my 0 in a Cartesian plane, this is my 90, this is my 180, this is my 270, and this is my 360. Now in all this, I have got the words that I use, which says all students. So all students take chemistry. So what does this mean? It means all means cos, sin, and tan, because these are the three. All of them, they are positive. Now student stands for S, which is sin is the only one that is positive, and then tech stands for 10, is the only one that is positive. Chemistry stands for C, which is cos, is the only one that is positive. So when it's like that, it means the others are negative. For example, here cos is negative, 10 is negative, even here cos is negative, sin is negative, even here 10 is negative, and sin is negative. That's what basically this system or this does. Now they are saying we are given that sin alpha is equal to negative. So the key part is you can see that sin is negative. So you ask yourself, where is sine negative? Sine is negative either in this particular quadrant and this particular quadrant, and they gave us a hint. It must be between 180, which is from this part, to 270, which is to that part. So which means it is not this section, but it is that section that they are talking about. So they are saying determine the value of cos alpha there. You can see that if sin is negative, so also cos is going to be negative, because sin and cos are negative. So what you are having a line like that here. In that particular line, you are going to have it, as you can see, like that. Then if I do go back to the top there, you are having this particular angle, and in this part here, as you can see, remember, it's sin alpha is equal to, as I said, so means opposite over hypotenuse, and they told us the opposite, which is minus, the opposite is 3 over the hypotenuse is 5. So you need to match that and you need to match that. So which means the opposite and the hypotenuse. So now if you actually look at your triangle like this, you can see now to say, in this case, my opposite, this becomes 90 degrees, this becomes my opposite, which is 3, and my hypotenuse there is 5. Again, you need to definitely get hold of my mathematics N2 so that you can get some ideas there. And then when you have done that, you need to now know, with the Pythagoras theorem, you are having a shape like this. We actually use, we are having a shape like that, and like that. So, and this is 90 degrees. So you're having a shape like that, which this is 3, that is 5, and using Pythagoras theorem, what that is your x. Now to say x 5 squared is equal to 3 squared plus x squared, and then 5 squared is 25 minus 3, this will jump, minus 3 squared is 9 is equal to x squared. Now 25 minus 9 is 16 is equal to x squared. Do that so that you have got plus or minus 4 is equal to your x. Now what are you gonna take? Remember, when you put a square root, you choose the positive or negative. You can see that is on the left hand side, which is the negative one. Then you can say, in this case, therefore x is equal to negative 4. So you have got a negative 4 here, not a positive 4. So if they're asking you cos alpha, now if x is equal to negative 4, now cos alpha, now you have got, remember, is so, it's so, let me just do this again. I said we have got so, and then we have got car. Now that's your car, which is CAH, and then there is a division line there, meaning cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. In this case, what is my adjacent, which is my x there, which is negative 4 over, because if you look at the diagram here, this is my H, this is my O, and this is my adjacent, which is my A. Why? Because our angle is there, which is minus 4/5. So this question here, which says determine the value of cos alpha without using a calculator, in this case the cos alpha there is equal to minus 4/5. So that is basically what they wanted you to do there. But you can try with a calculator. What you do is, just to test your answer, you say, remember sin alpha is that. So if you want to find an angle here, if this is what we're given, now you can find an angle and say alpha is equal to arc sine minus 3/5. Now we want that particular angle, which is equal to shift arc sine minus 3/5. If you do that, you can see that it is giving me minus 36 over that. So if I use that as the answer, remember my answer is still that, I can say cos, and this cos answer there is equal to, you can see that is giving me 4/5 in this case, but remember is in the what we call is in the third quadrant. Cos is negative, hence you will have to use a negative of that. So if I repeat again, I said shift negative 3/5 like that. I'm getting that. And then if I say cos, in this case, cos answer, it will give me 4/5. Why is it giving me a positive? You'll have to understand this again to say in the negative quadrant, cos negative is actually here, that is cos negative. It gave you a positive where cos is positive here, but now you have to remember that 4/5 in the third quadrant, cos is negative. Now we've come to the end of our lesson where I cover some part of the trick, but I will encourage you to grab hold of the mathematics N3 for the underdogs, where you can be actually in a position to answer some of these questions. I hope you benefited from this section. Thank you.